Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and thanks for joining me on this new playthrough video. Today I am playing the final scenario, scenario number 7, called Lost in Time and Space. This is for the Dunwich Legacy campaign for Arkham Horror the Card Game. Normally there are 8 scenarios, but I think the reason this one is only numbered up to 7 is because the first scenario had 2 parts to it, A and B. So normally campaigns have scenario 1 through scenario 8. So this one is the final. It's scenario number 7. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before I read out the explanation, in the last episode, Jenny and Mark went up Sentinel Hill. They defeated the cultists, but they were unable to stop the gate from being opened. They felt the need to jump through the gate. That really wasn't explained, but they are sort of heroes and they're trying to stop the evil. So I have jumped through the gate, and this is where have landed is called Another Dimension. Now, let me read the scenario setting, and then I'll read the agenda and the act to you. Passing through the gate is unlike anything you've ever experienced. You feel your body twisting and distorting, churning through realities as the gate pulls you to its ultimate destination, a place beyond the scope of human imagination. Suddenly, all is quiet, and the chaos of the journey is replaced with a sense of solitude and dread. You are in an unfathomable place, vast beyond your ability to reason and utterly alien besides. The landscape is surreal and strange, the architecture impossible. You are so far from home that home has become a threadbare dream you can barely recall. Even should you find a way out of this awful place, you may never be the same again. All right, I have set up the encounter deck as described, and I've gone ahead and shuffled it up. I shuffled Jenny and Mark's deck. I haven't drawn yet. I forgot to do that. I should have done that before the game started. I did upgrade their deck with just a couple cards, nothing new. Some of their existing cards I upgraded from a level 1 to a level 2 card, or a level 0 to a level 1. I had 4 XP to spend. All right, so Jenny gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what she ends up with. All right, she's got the Elder Sign. That's searching for Izzy, a weakness. We don't want that. Stealth, evade stealth, chosen enemy. Okay, that might be fast play. That's good. I'm going to get rid of these 2 and draw 2 more. Leo and Elusive. So I got another Elusive. And then I'll shuffle these back in. Leo DeLuca is excellent. He gives me an extra turn. So pulling him this early in the game is really, really good. Normally you only get 3 actions per turn. Leo gives you a 4th action. Alright, so Jenny has her starting hand. And Mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dynamite. I don't know if I need that this early, and it's expensive. Trusted, unexpected courage, dodge, and get over here. No weapons. Let's see. This doesn't really come into play because I don't have an ally, and this won't happen just yet. So I'll keep unexpected courage, which has 2 wild pips, and a dodge just in case. I get 3 new cards. 1, 2, 3. I hope one of these isn't a weakness. It is. I got Barricade and Mono a Mono. And then I got Amnesia. Choose and discard all but 1 card from your hand. Well, let me shuffle this up real quick, and then I'll do that. That was a bummer. That was not good. That's the risk you take when you do your mulligan, is that you might draw something worse than what you drew. But you know what? I was going to draw it in the next hand or 2. I don't know if that was the first or second card. I can't recall, but it was going to get picked. So discard that, and I can only pick 1 of these. Actually, I should have 5. Oh yeah, the 5th one was this one. I'm going to keep Mono a Mono. No. That's a good card. Play as your first action. Deal 2 damage to an enemy engaged with you. It's like you automatically get 2 damage. Unexpected Courage has 2 wild pips. I'm going to take that. I'm going to regret it, but I'm going to take it. All right, it is time to begin. So let's flip over. Oh yeah, I got to read the agenda and the act. The agenda is the one you do not want moving forward. This first agenda takes 4 Doom tokens to advance. Pathways of sound and color extend for an eternity in all directions, dotted with impossible architecture and overgrown with alien wildlife. The lines between objects are jagged and shifting, and your skin feels as if it were inside out. Forced. After you are moved to a location by an encounter card effect, take a horror. All right, so there's going to be cards in here, I guess, that force me to move. Now, the act, this is what I want to move forward. The first one is going to take 2 clues per investigator, so 4 clues in all to advance this. Somehow, you must find your way across this alien landscape in order to find the nexus that was described in old Watley's tome. As an action, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Choose a location discarded by this effect and resolve its revelation ability. I have no idea what that means, but we're going to find out. All right, time to flip this over and see where we stand. No clues. Ooh, a 6, Shroud. Forced. When a location leaves play, move each investigator and unengaged enemy at that location to another dimension. Cannot be canceled. Okay, so when a location disappears, everybody has to come back here. Well, a 6, ooh, that's, I don't know. 6 is kind of high, but we'll see. All right, so Jenny will go first. When a location, okay, so let's go ahead and get Leo out for a cost of 5, which is all her resources. That's her first action. But again, he gives her another one, so she's still got 3 actions, but nothing to spend. Let's go ahead and do what this says. As an action, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Choose a location discarded by this effect and resolve its revelation. That's assuming you pick a location. That is not a location. That is not a location. That's a location. All right. Discard the top 3 cards, choose a location discarded by this effect, and resolve its revelation. Revelation. Put Endless Bridge into play and lose 2 resources. Well, the good news is I don't have any resources, and if you don't have what it takes, you don't have to do it. Forced. After an investigator leaves Endless Bridge, either place 1 Doom on the Endless Bridge or discard it. Ooh, okay. It's got 2 clues and a 4 Shroud. So Jenny's second action was to do this. Her third action will be to move. And then her fourth action will be to investigate. She has an investigative 3. And she could contribute this to make it 4, which isn't really helping her. She'd have to do both of these to make it 5, which I will do. 5 versus 4. The skull. The skull is -1 for each extra dimensional location in play. That is an extra dimensional. It says it right there. So 4 to 4. That's enough. I get the clue. And that is her last action. So she is exhausted. Put this back in. All right. So the more extra dimensionals you have out, the harder it is. Ugh. Okay. It is Mark's turn. Mark only has 1 card, Unexpected Courage. So, what will he do? I really don't want to get more out, but he's not going to be able to move here and investigate this because his investigate is 2. This would make it 4, which is not good odds. Let's have him build up his hand. He's going to draw a card first. He gets Flashlight. He'll play it for his second action, which costs 2 resources, and it puts 3 supplies on it. Now, the Flashlight is really cool because it knocks the Shroud down by 2 points. So, for his third and final action, I will do the triple. We got a location. Tear through space. Revelation. Put it into play. Forced. At the end of the round, either place 1 Doom on Tear or discard it. Oh. That's not good, because now it's the end of the, well, it's almost the end of the round. All right. Remember, the doom tokens will add up, and if there's a doom token here, it counts towards the number of doom tokens that can advance the agenda. At the end of the round, either place one doom on it or discard it. But it's got a Shroud of 1, so it's only got one clue. So Mark could get to that and then leave and discard it. I like this. It's kind of like you can go to places, but then when you leave, they just disappear. All right, so that is his turn. I'm going to leave it, but right now it's the creature phase. There are no creatures. Upkeep phase, you flip these guys over. They each get resources. He gets 1. Jenny gets 2. That's her special ability. They draw a card. He draws Safeguard. She draws Sneak Attack. All right, now it's the end of the round, so I put a Doom token here. Now it's the Mythos phase, and I put a Doom token here. There are now 2 out. You draw an event card for each person in the order that they went. Jenny went first, so she draws first, and she gets Collapsing Reality. Revelation. If you are at an extra-dimensional location, discard it and take 1 damage. Otherwise, take 2 damage. So I have to leave it. And take a damage. If you were at extra... Okay, so discard it and take a damage. Great! So the clue goes away. I don't get it. This gets discarded, and she gets forced back to another dimension. Mark draws Steps of Yagarl. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's an otherworldly dimension. Revelation. Put it into play, then draw the topmost Madness card in your discard pile. Forced. When you would leave Steps of Yagarl, test 2 will. If you fail, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of moving to your original destination. When you leave it, shuffle it into the encounter deck instead of moving to your original location. Now, then where do you go? Test 2 sanity. If you fail, shuffle steps. Otherwise, you have to stay there instead of moving to your original location. But if you fail it, shuffle it instead of moving to your original. So you could move somewhere else, but otherwise you're forced back here. Okay, I get it. Okay. So this is in play, but I have to draw the topmost Madness card, which guess what? Is Amnesia. So now I have to discard all but 1 card. I'm going to get rid of, after another invasion moves from your location, exhaust, safeguard, move that location. I'm going to keep Unexpected Courage because, like I said, it's a 2 wild pips. I think that may come in handy. All right, that is the end of the round. I'm going to let Mark go through Tear Through Space because it's got a 1 shroud. He could probably do that one. And Jenny will go here. So in Jenny's turn, she is going to move here. It has 2 clues. She has 3 more turns. She'll play Sneak Attack to turn her location to add 1. So now she's got 4 Investigate versus 3. I don't like those odds, but that's the best I can do. 4 versus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1, so she fails it. That was her. She moved. She investigated. She got 2 more actions. I'm going to draw a card for her 3rd action. Oh, I got Chronophobia. Put it into play. At the end of your turn, take 1 direct horror. Then you can discard this for 2 actions. She only has 1 action left. So, unfortunately, she can't do anything other than investigate, which is a straight 3 versus 3. Let's hope she gets at least 1 clue. She did get it. She got a clue. Now, remember, it takes 4 to advance the agenda. So, she can't do anything else. That was her 4th turn, so she turns this over. She's got Chronophobia. At the end of your turn, take 1 direct horror. So at the end of her turn, she takes a horror, which is this. All right. I could put it on Leo, but I'll put it on her for now because she has the Elder Sign Amulet, which gives her a bonus 4. So if I can get this out to play, she'll be okay. Mark is going to move for his first action. For his second action, he will investigate. He is a 2 versus 1. I'm going to use this to make it 4 versus 1. And I auto-failed. So now for his third action, he's going to just do 2 versus 1. That symbol is reveal another token. If you fail after this skill test, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a location is discarded, put it into play, and move there. All right, so I have to pass this. It's a 2 versus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, so I did it. So I'm not forced to move to a location. He gets a clue. Now I have 3 clues. That was his. He moved. He investigated and failed. He investigated and failed. So that's his last action. Now, there are no creatures, so now it's the upkeep phase. This flips over. She gets 2 resources. He gets 1. He draws a card. He got Armitage, and she draws Hard Muscle, which is an ally. She can have up to 2 allies out. The Hard Muscle gives her +1 fight, but they cost money. At the end of each round, you have to pay one resource to pay them. Okay, now it is upkeep. I just did the upkeep phase. At the end of the round, either place 1 doom or discard it. So once you discard a location, the doom goes away. That's good. So this is gone. He comes back here. He's forced back to the original location. So at the end of the round, either place 1 doom or discard it. Yep. All right, so now it's the Mythos phase. We put a doom token here. It's got 2 out of 4. Jenny went first, so she will draw a card. Oh, no, hold on. At the end, this is already done. She draws a card, and she gets Offer of Power. Peril, which means only she can deal with this. Revelation, you must either choose one. Draw 2 cards and place 2 doom on the current agenda, or take 2 horror. Well, I will take 2 horror because putting two on here will flip that. Mark draws Visions of Future Past. Test 5 will. For each point you fail, discard the top card of your deck. His will is 3. I hate to discard Armitage, but he's got 2 wild pips, which would make it 5 versus 5. Yep, 5 versus 5. And because I can't risk discarding my weapons. I don't know if creatures are going to come up or not, but 5 versus 5. Let's do it. That symbol is -X. X is the shroud value of your location. 6. If you fail and your location is extra-dimensional, discard it. I do not, but I do fail it. So since I failed it, since the 6, it takes me down to 0, which means for each point you fail, I missed it by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got rid of one of his weaknesses, which is good. All right. That was his draw. It is now her turn. She will use 2 actions to get rid of Chronophobia. And for her third action, she will try to... Well, all right. What can she do? Mark can move there and use the flashlight to get it because she doesn't have anything to lower the shroud. So what I'm going to do is for her third action, she'll move back here. Actually, hold on. When you would leave, test 2 will. If you fail, shuffle it in instead of moving to your original destination. Well, my original destination is here, which I have to go back here anyway, whether I fail it or not. Because if I fail it, this goes away. But if I make it, I can move here. But if I make it, Mark can come here. Let's do that. Her will is 3 versus 2. I can't get rid of the amulet. I need that. 3 versus 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. It ties. So She is able to move back here. This does not go away. That was her third action. For her fourth action, she will do this to try to find a location. Not a location. Not a location. Not a location. So that was a waste of a turn. But at least she's safely back here. All right. So she is done. Choose a location discarded by this effect and resolve it. Okay. Mark's first action, he will move. He's going to use flashlight to investigate. Now that drops this to 1. He is at 2 versus 1. Not the best. And I did it. So he gets the last clue. Now this, discard the, I can immediately flip it. I can immediately pay these 2 and these 2 to flip it. He moved, he's got one more turn. So we flip this over and it says, a light shimmers in the distance and you head towards it to investigate. The wispy light drifts away from you, floating through the realm's strange gateways, ascending looping staircases, and crossing through barriers you dared not cross earlier. With a little chance of finding the nexus on your own, you follow the light, hoping it is guiding you in the right direction. Put the set-aside edge of the universe into play. Okay. The edge of the universe is here. I can get to it. It says you must have at least clues to move to the edge of the universe. All right, so it's up here. I cannot get to it. All right. So, and then let's read the new act. You continue to follow the wisp of light, though the treacherous landscape makes it a difficult quarry to chase. As an action, discard the top 3 cards, choose a location discarded, and resolve its revelation. Objective. If an investigator enters the edge of the universe, advance this. So I need to get 2 clues to get here. All right, Mark has one more action. When you would leave, he's going to leave, so he has to test 3 will versus 2 will. 3 minus 2 is 1, so he fails it, which means this goes away, but it doesn't matter because he's forced to come back here, and that is the end of his turn. All right. No creatures. Upkeep. Flip these over. She gets 2. He gets 1. He draws a card. He gets dynamite. She gets unexpected courage with the 2 wild pips. Excellent. Now, put a doom token on, and she draws the first card. She went first, right? Yeah. Vast expanse. Terror. Revelation. If there are no extra dimensional locations in play, there are not, it gains surge. So you got to draw again. Tear through space. It's a location. Put tear through space into play. It also has surge, so I have to draw again. Forced. At the end of the round, either place 1 doom or discard it. So she has surge, so she's got to draw again. Visions of future past. Test 5 will. Her will is 3. I will contribute unexpected courage to make it 5 versus 5 and hope I don't miss by too much. 5 versus 5, I got +1, so I made it. All right. Now Mark draws his card. Prismatic Cascade. It is another location. Put it into play and discard a random card from your hand. Forced. After the last clue on Prismatic Cascade is removed, discard it. Okay. All right. So I only have 1 card in my hand, so I have to discard it. Poor Mark. All right. That is the end of that. It is now their turn. All right. Now, I need 2 clues. Not 2 per investigator. 2 clues to move to Edge of Darkness. Jenny could get here, get these 3 clues, or at least 2 of them, and then she would unlock that. This, however, is going... Oh, wait a minute. Did I do the doom? Yeah, did I put the doom on? Yes, I did. 1 more doom token, and we are in trouble. Well, this will forward. Put terror into play. Forward. At the end of the round, place a doom. All right, I'm going to end up discarding this. Even though it's 1-1, well, Mark will go here because because if he gets the clue, you must have at least clues in order to move to this. Okay, so I can move to it just free, but I got to get 2 clues. All right, so rather than waste Mark's resources, because you can't lower I could lower this, but the lowest I can go is 0 with a flashlight. It's -2, but that's a waste of a resource. I'm going to have Jenny move for 1 action. Then she has nothing. But I tell you what, I'm going to take my... no, let's not push it. I'm going to investigate. She is... I should have had Mark move here and then draw cards. He might have get something that could help her. But too late now. All right. Jenny is going to do a 3 versus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. She fails it. That was her second action. For her third action, 3 minus 2. She gets it. She gets 1 clue. And for her fourth and final action, 3 versus 2. The Elder Sign. You get +1 for each resource you have. So she definitely passes that and gets another clue. So, because I have the clues, I can move here. It just says you must have 2 clues in order to move. And I don't think... I think you just move. Because it doesn't say... I think the rest of this just disappears. Because this says... Well, you must have at least 2 clues in order to move. So maybe that does require a move action. So let's do this. She will pay the 2, so we'll treat this as unlocked, and that is the end of her turn. Mark will move here. And let's flip it. You must have at least 2 clues in order to move to the edge of the universe. Hold on. That's what this side says. You must have at least 2 clues in order to move. Oh, okay. You must have at least 2 clues in order to move to it. All right, so what's going on here is, let me read this. I think I understand what's going to happen. Moving back to this could be the problem. So Mark moved. He's got 2 more actions. Let's flip this because I did move to the edge of the universe. It says if an investigator, not both. If an investigator. You reach an impossibly dense pitch-black void and realize that this place is where all of reality, all that is and that all that ever will be, ends. In its center, you see a minuscule rift, suspended just out of reach. When you peer through the tear, you are surprised to see the peak of Sentinel Hill. Somehow you've reached the other side of the rift. Now you must find a way to close it for good. All right, and then we read Act number 3A. Closing the rift. The unearthly stones on the ground are inscribed with some sort of seal. Approaching them causes a voice to enter your mind, speaking in an alien tongue. As an action, discard the top 3 cards to find a location and do its revelation. Objective. Only investigators at the edge of the universe may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. This is going to take me 6 clues, 3 per investigator. All right. So Mark still has 2 actions left. So this will go away in just a moment. So he moved here. 2 actions. So he has to do this. 1. 2. Nope. 3. Nope. Man. So that was action number 2, which was a waste. No locations revealed. 1 for his third and final action. 1. Here we go. Prismatic Cascade. Put it into play and discard a random card from your hand. He has no cards in his hand. After the last clue is removed, discard it. Okay. So we put 3 clues on this one. That's half of what I need right there. And that was Mark's last turn. Okay. Now it's the end of there's no enemies, so these refresh. Jenny gets a card. She got glory and 2 resources. He gets 1 resource and 1 card, and he got police badge. All right. Now it is the end of the round. I have to discard this Prismatic. After the last clue is removed, discard it. Okay, so Jenny's going to get this one, and then she'll move up. When a location leaves clay, move each of us. Okay, got it. All right, so now we place a Doom token here. That is 4, which causes the agenda to advance. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Then, discard cards from the top until a location is discarded. The lead investigator resolves that location's revelation. Okay, so, and then there's a second part, but let's do this first part. So we shuffle this and this. This one was Chronophobia is hers. It goes over here. All right. Let's shuffle it. Shuffle. And one more for good measure, and we'll get going. All right. Then it said, what did it say? Shuffle until you get a location, or discard until you get a. Nope. Nope. Yep. Dimensional doorway. All right. So the lead investigator is who I choose it to be. Since Mark is ahead of the game, I will have him place it. He'll place it right here. Resolve its effect. Revelation. Put it into play, then draw the topmost hex card in the encounter discard pile. That is... There are no hexes, so you don't have to worry about that. Forced. At the end of your turn, if you are at Dimensional Doorway, you must either spend 2 resources or shuffle it into the encounter deck. Okay, so at the end of your turn. All right. Check the campaign log. If the investigators failed to save the students, read aloud the following. I did save the students, I believe. That was way back at Miskatonic Hall. The experiment was defeated. Yes, so I did save the students. If the investigators failed, so I don't have to read this. Okay, so that's good. Oh, you know what would have happened if I didn't? That creature jumps into this one and it gets pulled into play or something. That's kind of cool. All right, so that was this agenda. Now let's read the next agenda, which also needs 4 doom. Past, present, and future. As you cross this realm, you catch occasional glimpses of reality, scenes from old memories, more recent visions from the past few days, and sometimes even events that you do not remember ever happening. Forced. After you were moved to a location by an encounter card effect, take 1 horror. You know what? I seem to recall after you were moved to a... I think nobody was forced to move. Jenny made that save. Did Mark fail it? I think he did. He will take a horror. That would have had to happen. Anytime you were moved to a location by an encounter card effect, after you were moved to it, take a horror. Yeah, so Jenny never was forced, but Mark was. So put that one down. Time to go. Oh, no. That was that. Now they got to draw cards. Jenny went first. She draws Yithian Observer. Prey. Fewest cards in hand. Jenny has 4. Mark has 1. So it spawns where Jenny is, but it's going to prey on... It's going to move next turn to Mark.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.
All right, and then Mark draws Arcane Barrier, Hex Obstacle. Attached to your location. He is at the edge of the universe. As an additional cost to move in or out of that location, test for will. If successful, discard this. Otherwise, you must cancel the effects of the move or discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Come on. All right. That's pretty nasty. All right. So, okay. And this has 2 clues on it. But this one's going to go away at the end of your turn. If you are at Dimensional Doorway, you must either spend 2 resources, which he could, to stay there. Okay, so now it is Jenny's turn. She's not engaged with the Yithian. The Yithian is going to move to Mark. So on her turn, I think that's how that works. the prey is fewest cards in hand. It appears at her location because she drew it, but it's going to move to Mark. I think that's how that plays. I'm going to go ahead and get this Elder Sign Amulet out and pay 3 for it for her first action. And I'm going to transfer 3 of these to the amulet. All right. It can handle 4 before it goes away. All right. And for her second action, I'm going to get this clue. 3 versus 2. She'll play Glory to bring that up to 5 versus 2. She got it. So she gets a clue. And after it's discarded, remove it. Now here's the interesting part. She's going to move here. Or actually she moves. She can move here. Yep. When a location leaves play moves. Okay. She can move directly here with Mark. That was her third action. Now what's interesting is, because the Yithian is at this location, if this gets discarded, so does the enemy. It doesn't have anywhere to go. Alright, so that was good. Now Jenny's got 1, 2, 3. She's got one more action. She could try to get rid of Arcane as an additional cost to move into or out of the attached location. Test 4 will. She's got 3 will, which is probably not going to work. I really need to find a way to get the willpower up. Okay. So for her fourth and final action, I am going to draw a card. Well, yeah, I'm going to draw a card. She got Clean 'em Out, which doesn't really help me. All right, she is done. It is Mark's turn. Now, he needs to move, but he can't because of this stupid arcane barrier. As an additional cost to move, test 4 will. All right, first action he's going to do is he's going to pay 3 to get out Police Badge. It gives him +1 will. So he is now at 4 versus 4. And Jenny can contribute. She'll contribute this one to make it 5 versus 4, since they're at the same location. 5 versus 4. That one is reveal another token. If you fail, discard cards until the location. Discard cards from the top of the encounter until a location. Put that into play and move there. Ooh. Okay, so he's now at, what did I say? 5 versus 4. He was at 4 versus 4. She contributed. So this is +1, 4. Yeah, 5 versus 4. Come on, pass this one. He did. All right. So this goes away. And he will, he can move now. So he will move here to get these 2. Or do I want to move here? Put a prismatic card later around. They both have the same shroud, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to move him here for his first action. First action. Second action, I'm going to pay a flashlight resource to lower that to 1. So he's testing 2 versus 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. He fails it. So for his third and final action, he's just a straight 2 versus 2. Actually, I'll use the last flashlight. Uses 3 supplies. Spend a supply. Your location. I think flashlight goes away when you use it up. I'm pretty sure it does. So he's now 2 versus 1 again. And he fails it. So Mark is done. And the flashlight's gone. Alright. It is now creature phase. There are no creatures. Upkeep. Flip these over. She gets 2 and a card. She got Overpower. He gets 1 and a card. And he got Beat Cop. Alright. Now, put a Doom token on. Boom. Alright. Draw a card. Jenny went first, so she draws Visions of Futures Past. Test 5 Sanity. Or Will. And she is at 3, so she's going to fail this. 3 minus 2 is 1. She fails it by 4, so she has to get rid of 4 cards. 1, 2, 3. Please don't let it be her guns. 4. All right, good. Mark draws a Yithian Observer. Fewest cards. Well, that is him, so it does target him. Forced. When it attacks you, discard 1 card at random from your hand. If you cannot, it deals +1 damage and +1 horror. Ooh, I'm going to have to beat that thing. All right. So, it is now my turn. I placed it, I drew hers, I drew his, and that is that. All right. So, Mark, let's get rid of this Yithian. It has 4 fight, 4 health. He has police badge, which gives him nothing. He's got 5 fight versus 4. I hate to use the beat cop as a resource, but he really needs to kill this thing. Although its agility is 3, and he could use this to make it 4 versus 3 and try to evade it. And if he does, he could use his other 2 turns to try and get that. Let's do that. I'm going to contribute this to try to evade. That gives him 4 evade versus 3. I did evade. So what happens is this gets exhausted, and it will not ready until the end of the round. Okay. So it can't attack me this turn. All right. For his second action, he will try to do this. 2 versus 2. He did. He got a clue. All right. So I've got 2 of the 6 that we need. And then for the third and final action, I'm going to do it again. 2 versus 2. And I did it. I got it again. All right. So that is him. He is done. Now Jenny's turn. Jenny will move for her first action. 3 clues. All right. Let's get these things. She has no flashlight. She has nothing that can help her. So it's just a straight 3 versus 2. Second action, because she moves. Second action is 3 versus 2. She fails it. Third action, 3 versus 2. She fails it. And final one, 3 versus 2. Skull is -1 for each extra dimensional in play. There's one. There's one. So, yes, she fails it. Great. Okay. So she's done. All right. Phooey. Okay. It is now the upkeep phase. The creature does not attack. Everything refreshes. So this comes back. These flip. She gets a card. She got her 45s. Yes. And 2 resources. I don't know if that's going to matter, but she might be able to go help Mark in a minute. Mark gets a resource. And he draws a card. He gets an Elder Sign. Okay, well, that'll help a little bit, maybe. That is the end of the upkeep phase. Place a Doom token. Mark went first this time, so he will draw. He gets Interstellar Traveler. Spawn any extra dimensional location. I'm going to put it at Jenny's, because she's got the gun. She can bring the guns out. When Interstellar enters a location, flip 1 clue on that location to its Doom side and place it on Traveler, or place 1 Doom on Interstellar Traveler if they're okay. So it comes here, and one of these Dooms has to go to it, which stinks because I needed that. I need that clue. I need 6 clues. All right. So what did I just do? I drew his card, which was this one, and now I draw her card. Arcane Barrier attached to this location, so it costs to move out of this. So this is attached here. All right, let's deal with this. Jenny's going to go. So this is engaged with her. Okay, it's engaged. Now, as an action, it's going to get an opportunity attack, but there's really nothing I can do about it. She's going to get her 45s out for her first action. It costs, I'm going to spend everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to spend 8 and leave 1 resource. Well, hold on. I got stealth. Exhausted. Evade. The chosen enemy gets -2 evade for the attempt. If you successfully evade, disengage with it, but do not exhaust it. Until the end of your turn, that enemy cannot engage you. Interesting. But I can't play this because it'll still get an opportunity attack. Exhaust it. Chosen enemy gets -2 evade. If you successfully evade, disengage it, but do not exhaust it. Interesting. Okay, so is there an advantage to that? It cannot engage me until the end of the turn. No, because then on its turn it can still engage and attack. So no, I'm not going to use that. But I could spend this to try to evade. It would be 4 versus 2. Let's do that. I'm not going to... That way I don't take the opportunity attack. I'm going to try to evade. I'm going to spend stealth, which gives her +1 agility. So she's at 4 versus 2. Let's try to evade this thing. 4 versus 2. 4 minus 1 is 3, so I do evade it. So it cannot attack me this turn. That was her first action. Now, second action, she will play the guns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 8. I'll just play 8. That means I get 8 bullets on Jenny's gun. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I want lots of bullets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. That was her second turn. Her third turn, she can't move. She'd have to do this. So she's just going to do her investigate, or try to. 3 versus 2. This is her third action. She got it. All right, so I've got 4 clues now out of 6. And for her fourth and final action, 3 versus 2. 3 plus 1 is 4. I got it. Now, here's the funny part. After the last clue is removed, discard it. Remember, he's not engaged with me, so she has to come back here. You must have at least 2 clues in order to move. Okay, so she does have at least 2, so she can move back here. This goes away, as does that, and the Doom token, and this card. Now, the downside is that Doom token was a clue token, and I needed it. So I'm going to have to investigate some other location. So she was forced back here once she got the last clue. That's a free move. So she's got 2 more actions left. She evaded. She investigated. There were 2 clues on here, weren't there? So she's got 1 more action. 1 more action could get her here with Mark, where he's got an enemy. He's got an enemy. But I'm going to move her. I'm going to move her. Well, no, she needs to find another location. Okay, so while here, she's going to use her last action to discard the 3. Nothing. Got a location. Endless Bridge. Revelation. Put it into play and lose 2 resources. She can only lose 1. Forced. After an investigator leaves the bridge, either place 1 doom on it or discard it. Okay. All right. Well, the good news is it's got 2 clues on it and a Shroud of 4, which Jenny may be able to do something about. All right. So that was her last action. So she is done. Mark's action. The Yithian is ready, so it engages with him. He can't do anything other than fight it. Actually, hold on. He can move. Well, no, he needs to evade it before he moves. At the end of your turn, if you are at Dimensional Door, you must either spend 2 resources or shuffle it into the encounter deck. All right. So at the end of his last turn, he would have spent these 2 if you were at the Dimensional Door. So he would have had to spend those 2. All right, so he's down to 4. Okay. He's going to try to evade this thing. His evade is 3 versus 3. He has nothing to help him. 3 versus 3. And he did it. So again, we evade it. And then here we go. You must either spend 2 resources or shuffle Dory into the encounter deck. Okay, so he's going to move. He moves from the dimensional doorway back to the edge of the universe. And he's got 2 resources, so he can do that. So he evaded and he moved. Now, at the end of your turn, if you are here, you must either spend 2 or it goes away. So this goes away too. All right. So for his third and final action, he will move to the Endless Bridge, but he can't do anything. So he is done. It's the end of his turn. This goes away, which means this goes away. And now it is the upkeep phase. Flip these cards. She gets 2 resources. He gets 1. He draws Haunted. Add it to your threat area. You are -1 to each of your skills. It takes 2 actions to discard this. Now, she didn't draw her card. Oops. She draws Hard Knocks. Not really useful. Put a Doom token. It has got 3 out of the 4 now. And she went first, so she draws a card. She gets Tear Through Space. It's a location. At the end of the round, place a Doom or discard it. Okay, so it's here, and it has 1 clue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She could go here and get that, which will... All right, we're almost there. All right, now Mark draws a card. Beyond the Veil. Bad card. Put it into play in your threat area. It does not go away. If your deck has no cards in it, take 10 damage. So if my deck goes to 0, I take 10 damage and die, basically. All right. Now, I could get some allies out, and they could take some of the damage, but I don't think they can take 10 plus my... Yeah, maybe I could. I don't know. All right. I think we can do this. So it's Jenny's turn. On Jenny's turn, she will move here. She can investigate. She's 3 versus 1. Good odds. 3 minus 2 is 1. I tied. This is the 6th clue. She's got 2 that she moved, and she investigates. So she's got 2 actions left. I've got the 6 clues, so I flip this over. You are utterly exhausted with no idea as to what can be done to close the rift. It is too distant to touch, and nothing you do has any effect. There is nothing here to guide you apart from the unearthly words that are seeping into your mind. Just then, you hear a familiar voice with the echoing chorus and feel yourself compelled to repeat it. Claudostium. You whisper at first the words on the tip of your tongue. Claudostium. You close your eyes to concentrate, and the echo grows louder. When it ends and you open your eyes, you face nothing but an inky abyss, and the tear has vanished. Remove the edge of the universe from the game. Put the set-aside Tear Through Time into play. So this goes away, and now we're at Tear Through Time. And she is at it. Isn't that right? Put aside... yeah, you're there. All right, so I guess Mark has to go there too. Tear Through Time. It has 4 clues on it. 2 Shroud. Remember, she has 2 actions left. As an action, spend 2 clues. You can resign. You find a new path and hope that it leads back to safety. Oh, I don't like that idea. She's got 2 actions left. So let me read this. Finding a new way. With no clear way out of this dimension, you seek another path. All right, so he has to come here. This goes away. Blah. This one goes away. And this one goes away. All right, so we are at Tear Through Time. Okay. As an action, discard top 3 cards, find a location, discard it, and do the revelation. Objective. If each undefeated investigator resigns, advance this. Oh, man. I don't want to quit. If each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. But I don't want to advance. What do I do here? With no clear way, you seek another path. Discard the top 3 cards. Other choose a location. If each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. Wow. I don't know. I don't understand, but okay. So he's got 2 actions left. He could investigate, but I think Jenny's more... Let's do this. So discard the top 3 cards. We have a hazard. We have a terror. We have a hazard. So no locations. That was the third. That was his second turn wasted. Third turn, nothing. So he is done. All right. So Jenny Spend 2 clues. Resign. You find a new path and hope it leads back to safety. So I guess you have to find a new path. Okay, so you've got to get all these. If each investigator is resigned, advance. Okay, got it. So for her first action, she can't do anything. She's got nothing. All right, so she's just 3 versus 2. 3 versus 2. She got 1 clue. All right. Oh, these go away. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 4 clues. I need all 4 of these so that they both can resign and pass this. See what happens. All right. For her third and for her, let's see, that was her first action. Second action. Second action is 3 versus 2. That's a tie, so she gets another one. For her third action, 3 versus 2. She fails it. And for her fourth action, 3 versus 2, she fails it. So she is done. I need to take a pause real quick. I have a family member asking me a question. I'll be right back. Okay, time to see what happens here. All right, so they both went. I only got 2 of the clues. No creature phase. Flip these over. She gets 2 resources. He gets 1. I got an ally, and she gets hired muscle again. All right. Put a doom token. Well, unfortunately, that is 4, which advances this. Shuffle the encounter into the then discard until a location is discarded. Lead investigator reveals it. Okay, so once again, I shuffle these together. And check campaign log if at least 1 name is recorded under sacrifice to Yog Sothoth, which, yes, I had, I believe, 2 victims sacrificed to Yog Sothoth. There's a card in here that's wrong. Oh, that shouldn't have gone there. Okay. That should have gone over here. I had 2 victims, so I will read that in just a second after I shuffle this up. And that's it. All right. So let me do it. Arcane barrier. Nope. Nope. Yep. Got a location. All right. Then it says, you hear a familiar voice calling out to you, and you enter an impossibly shaped building of cracked stone. No, don't, the voice cries. You rush towards the voice down a set of steep, narrow stairs. Upon reaching the bottom, you find yourself in the hidden chamber from Dunwich. Bound by shackles, you see those you failed to save, bloodied and maimed. A creature with a man's face feeds from a corpse on the ground. The head of the corpse turns to face you, and a sharp pain stabs your heart. Each investigator must test 3 X will, where X is the number of names recorded under sacrifice to Yaga. For each point failed, take a damage. 1 damage, not sanity. I had 2, so let's do Jenny. Her will is 3, and she's testing 3 versus 2, and she has nothing to help her. 3 versus 2, she does it. Mark is 3 will versus 2, and he can contribute. I'll contribute Earl Sawyer to make it 4 versus 2. And I got 4 minus 1, so he makes it as well. All right. That was good. Now, the last... Oh, no, there's another one here. All right. That was number 2, wasn't it? Here's number 1. Here's number 2. Yeah. So this one takes 6 doom tokens. Breaking through. Throughout the warp dimension, no matter where you travel, there is a haunting shape in the distance. At first, it appears as a disc, like a black moon with many wriggling arms. But as time passes, you can tell it is growing larger and larger. Forced. After you are moved to a location by an encounter card, take a horror. Okay. That's if you're forced. Okay, so I need 2 more clues. Mark will go first. He's going to spend 2 actions to get rid of this thing, and he's only got 1 left. I mean, he'll try. 2 versus 2. he'll contribute his Elder Amulet to make it 3 versus 2. It's got a wild tip on it. 3 versus 2. And he got that, which says if you fail, reveal another token. If you fail, discard cards from the top of the encounter until a location is discarded. All right, so I'm doing, what was it? What did I say? 2 versus 2? No, 3 versus 2. 3 minus 1 is 2, so I did it. So he gets a clue. Good for Mark. And that is the end of his turn. He had to contribute 2 to get rid of that one card. Jenny just needs one more. She will do a 3 versus 2. Come on. Give me a good mix up here. 3 versus 2. Come on. 3 minus 2 is 1. She fails it on her first action. Second action, 3 minus 2. 3 plus 1 is 4. She gets the final clue. As an action, spend 2 clues, resign. So remember, she'll have to give. Oh, you know what? So she's got one more action. She will give a clue. I believe that's one of the things you can do is give someone another card or whatever. But somehow, some way, he's got to get a clue. So now they have 2. That was her final action. So she is done. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to do this again. No creatures. Flip these over. He draws a card, get over here, and gets a resource. She draws a card, pickpocketing, and gets 2 resources. He went first, so he draws a card, and he gets collapsing reality. Hazard. If you are at an extra dimensional location, discard it and take a damage. Otherwise, take 2 damage. So he takes 2 damage. She draws Prismatic Cascade. Put it into play and discard a random card from your hand. All right. Thankfully, I don't need any more clues. So here's 5 cards. I'm just going to shuffle them sort of haphazardly here, and I'll get rid of that one. I got rid of Hired Muscle. It was discard 1, right? Discard 1. All right. It is now their turn. Now Jenny will turn in 2 clues to resign. Mark will turn in 2 clues to resign. This says, if each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. I flip this over. You discover a path that looks somewhat familiar and follow it. Even though your task is complete, you now understand that in closing the tear, you may never make it home. The fear of being lost here forever spurs you onward through an archway leading into an overgrown corridor. A damp wooden door leads you out into a pocket of thin rain and dark sky. Cement turns to gravel, then marble, then steel, then grass. You cross impossibly long meadows and make your way through dense woods before fatigue finally sets in. Drained of all energy, you cannot go on any further. Your body gives out. Read Resolution 1. R1. Resolution 1. Lying on your back in a patch of wet grass, you find yourself staring longingly at the night sky. Somehow you are once again atop Sentinel Hill, unable to recall exactly how you got here. You are mesmerized by the night sky. Seconds become minutes, and minutes become hours. Eventually you are found and lifted to your feet by a group of Dunwich citizens. What happened? What are y'all doing here? They ask you, frightened but curious. You can't seem to find the right words to describe the events that occurred beyond the gate, if they ever truly occurred. There does not appear to be any trace of Seth Bishop, of the creatures you fought earlier, or of the phantasmal and otherworldly gate. But every time you sleep, you dream, and when you dream, it all comes rushing back. In your campaign log, record the investigators closed the tear in reality. Each investigator suffers 2 physical trauma and 2 mental trauma as he or she never fully recovers from his or her time spent outside the realm of reality. Each investigator earns XP equal to the value of the cards. Each investigator earns 5 bonus experience as he or she saved the world from being torn out. The investigators win the campaign. Well, the XP really doesn't matter because I won't be playing these heroes again, for a while. I may come back and play them one day, but I'll probably change over to some other investigators. That was really awesome. I have heard a lot of people say that the Dunwich Legacy campaign is one of their favorites, and now I understand why. That was very Lovecraftian. I've read the Dunwich Horror story, which takes place, I think they said, 2 months before this. So it's really, really cool that I was able to play a game that put me and my 2 investigators into that story, or at least the follow-up of that story. This was a really weird adventure. There weren't a lot of creatures to encounter. It was mainly dealing with finding clues and moving from location to location. I have a feeling that this thing, there was one card that did not get called in called Yog Sothoth. And I have a feeling that I would probably have to, spawn the set-aside Yog. So if this had reached 6 Doom, this guy would have come out at the edge of the universe. And he's got 4 health, and then it says he gets +6 per investigator. So that's 12 plus 4, 16 health. Now, Jenny had her guns out, but unfortunately, Mark did not. So Yoth cannot be evaded, and he cannot make attacks of opportunity. When he attacks you, instead of taking X horror, you may discard the top. Oh, look at it. He gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horror. That's 2 successful attacks, and they're both out of the game. Instead of taking horror, you may discard X cards from your deck. Then, if you have no cards in your deck, you are driven insane. Woo! I dodged that bullet. All right, that was fun. If you are enjoying watching me play through Arkham Horror the card game, stay tuned, because on Mondays I'm going to be trying to play a new campaign. There are some one-off games, just like one scenario that are sold separately from the campaigns. I may play one of those in between the campaigns, and I'm not sure which campaign I'm going to do next. So if you're enjoying this, stay tuned. Either next Monday or the Monday after, I will be starting a new campaign, and plus 2 new investigators. So I hope you'll join me when that starts. Until then, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me on this Arkham Horror card game playthrough. I'll see you next time, and take care.